It doesn't say, there's no way to go live now?
You can hit publish. Otherwise, it just automatically goes.
And we're live. Very nice. We're just sitting there smiling the whole time. See, Andrew knows how to do this stuff. I don't know how to do this stuff.
Just got to put on that happy face.
It looks like I'm watching it now. It does look like we were live quite a bit before you pointed. So, but yeah, it's interesting how all that works. I wonder if it starts recording at when it goes red with the recording light, and then when you hit publish, that's just when it like starts there. Does that make sense? So like it's already processing and recording that stuff, and then after it's published is when it like launches it.
We're gonna have to figure that out.
I have no idea. Whatever the case, if the red light's on, we'll just assume that people are watching. Thanks for joining us for the spoilers for Dark Phoenix. We're going to now not worry about spoiling you. So it's right there in the title. It should be right there in the description. Hopefully nobody's here accidentally getting spoiled. This is the first time I think we've ever gone live with spoilers. I'm just a little nervous. I don't like that responsibility of, maybe accidentally spoiling somebody, Andrew.
Who cares?
Embracing your role.
Yeah.
Very nicely done. We're not going to worry about spoilers, which means a couple of things. Number one, if you haven't seen the movie, you may get some of it ruined for you. Number two, you also may be confused because we're going to jump around a little bit. It's not like we're going to tell you the whole plot of the movie. We're going to assume that you've seen it. So let's get into it. What do you want to talk about? They all die. No, but Jennifer Lawrence does.
Yeah.
Pretty early on.
Yeah. I saw that coming.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of one of the, it is the key motivating relational aspect of the movie is that both Magneto and Beast want to avenge her.
Yeah.
So they're going to go kill Dark Phoenix.
So yeah, did you have like pulled up anybody what those aliens were called?
No.
Or what they wanted?
Maybe producer Phil can find out.
So
I mean, they kind of look like Kree, but they can't do Kree because they've already done that. Skrull. Sorry.
Yeah, they're not Skrull, but they can shift and change like Skrull can.
I mean, they reminded me of the aliens in Signs.
Yeah, actually, you know what? They look a lot like the Signs
other than the
aliens.
face changing and everything. But
yeah. You just had to throw water on them. Everything would have been fine.
It's always water.
It's always water.
Water's always the solution.
So machine gun bullets do nothing, but 50 cals, they can do the trick.
Well, they knock them down at least.
Yeah.
I think this was not clear how to kill these beings.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. It looked like the bigger rounds were killing them.
Yeah.
Like there's like a moment, like there's a tipping point where maybe you destroy
if
enough
the hole
of them.
is big enough.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
then they can't regenerate.
But the movie doesn't really allow you to figure that out. Like because, well, and she was dealing with a little bit of the strange space power, whatever that was. That's another thing that's never really explained in this movie.
It's supposed to be the Phoenix Force, but we've seen her.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Isn't it?
I just assumed it was something that expanded her Phoenix powers in some way. But she was the only one who was able to withstand it because of her Phoenix powers.
No, from what I understand in the... Again, I'm not the Marvel guy.
This is the beauty of this movie. Nobody knows what actually happened in it.
Like I said, I'm not the Marvel guy, but I'm pretty sure the Phoenix Force is an outside entity that takes over Jean Grey.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
That fire that you saw coming in like from space.
Yeah.
Is literally the Phoenix. Like it's a cosmic entity.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, then it really doesn't make sense that she did Phoenix stuff at the end of Apocalypse.
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
That's huge contradiction.
I was super confused by that. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't because I didn't realize that was supposed to be the Phoenix Force. I just thought it was some mysterious space force that expanded her ability to be the Phoenix.
Yeah, in fact, in Marvel Comics, the Phoenix inhabits many people, not just Jean Grey.
Yeah,
so it kind of inhabits Jessica Chastain, halfway.
Correct.
Like that's never explained either. Does she pull like half of it back into her?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
confused.
Because she
by
didn't
that,
pull
too.
all of it. Because
No.
Jean Grey still had some.
Yeah, they were sharing. Because
How many colors were in the Phoenix 4? Were there 50? Because that'd be 50 Shades of Grey, and that'd be a great pun. Anyways, continue.
I don't even know where to start from there. So yeah, the Phoenix Force is this outside entity, like Phil was saying. Because I think like it has to find a host that can actually control or like manage its power. Because I think there was like this bit where Emma Frost once didn't have enough strength and it killed her. Then there's other stories, but yeah, there's like Jean Grey. There has to be a mutant or somebody who is strong enough to hold in that power. And I think Jean Grey is the most famous, for having the Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why it was so confusing, because at the end of Apocalypse, she full on.
No, I'm totally with you now.
Phoenixes now.
It makes no sense whatsoever, and I don't understand it now.
Yeah, because
So
it doesn't make sense. So you think that the Charles Xavier stuff is okay with him, like wanting fame and good stuff for the X-Men, and him, blocking out Jean's memories, because we've always seen him be upfront and honest, and I don't want to say like a Jesus role, but he's always seemed to have the right answer for every situation.
It's definitely
infallible.
It's definitely a road. It's a road to hell paved with good intentions moment for him. It's the idea that what he did it for a good reason, and he thought it was the only way, to quote unquote fix her. I actually like that conversation that they had with her as a girl, where she's like, "You're going to try to fix me," and he's like, "You're not broken." Now knowing on the inside, he was like, "Oh, she is broken, and I do have to protect her or fix her in this way." I don't know. I guess there are a lot of people in my life who, through all sorts of stages of my life, who are great people and have the best of intentions, but don't quite see sometimes the choices that they're making, how they affect other people, or how they can be a negative impact on somebody, because they really, and they're not even thinking the ends justify the means. They're just thinking this is the right choice because of what the ends are.
Yeah.
And it's a subtle difference in mindset. And I don't think that's a change of character. I think it's a very human thing. Like it's a very real thing that I know I've done too, that I've experienced in my own life, where I was like, oh, I thought that was the right call to do this, but I was not putting myself in somebody else's shoes enough. I was thinking of the end result more than I was empathy. So it kind of rung true for me.
He's talking about me, people.
No, I'm not. So I mean, maybe I am. Maybe you're about to drop a big bomb where I've really hurt you in some way, and I need to
I thought you were
repent.
talking about more about the fact that I'm one of those people who is always thinking about the end and not thinking about how it affects other people.
No,
like,
not at all.
That sounds like me, actually. So.
It sounds like all of us.
Yeah.
Listen, for the first, at least the first 5 years of our life, the world literally revolves around us. Like, we don't understand any in it. No, I mean, well, it depends on what you mean by world. Fine. Metaphorically, literally, whatever. What I mean by
the Earth's flat, so it doesn't revolve. So.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it is no coincidence that we are all self-centered to start,
Yeah.
Learning empathy, learning how to actually see things through other people's eyes. That is a lifelong maturing process that is very difficult. And I think that's the reason why for all of us, we have moments where we're like, oh, I really messed that up, And I think Xavier's just having one of those moments.
Yeah. One of my issues is the lack of consistency with character motivations in this movie.
Okay.
Because we have Jean Grey, who is like, who keeps running away from everywhere, but she keeps saying that she's abandoned. Like, she has to know she's the one running away. She's the one, because she's like, you guys abandoned me. They literally, throughout this entire movie, are chasing her to bring her home. How is that abandoning her?
Right.
And then I can understand Magneto, because it's been shown that him and Mystique, they've had this connection. They've been friends, maybe something even a little bit more. But other than that, I don't get anybody's motivations. Okay, Scott Summers, I can understand. He's just plain cut. He loves Jean. He wants to save her.
That's what I said during the podcast proper was the motivations in this movie are primarily, if not solely, relationship based. Yeah. It's all about love and care for a particular person motivating you to do something, which is a very powerful motivation. It's a very real one.
Yeah.
That we've all experienced. But yeah, so
that's not what X-Men's known for.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Which I don't know if I can knock the movie for trying something new,
sure.
Considering there's 12 movies. You can't just keep doing the same story over and over again. But I just want them to do Phoenix Force good at least once.
What would make it better? What's your primary suggestion when Marvel tries to do the Phoenix story? What is the one thing that the first two attempts missed?
They don't treat the Phoenix Force as its own entity. They put that weight on Jean Grey's shoulder.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Like it's all Jean. You can't save Jean. Jean and the Phoenix Force are one. Fix that. Make the Phoenix Force like a monkey on her back sort of thing. Like she's addicted. She's addicted to the power, and you have to, then you could do this
more like the One Ring kind of idea.
Yeah, exactly. You make it to where yes, Jean is kind of at fault. She's loving this power, but at the same time, it's poisoning her to want that power. Kind of like, how you love somebody who's addicted to drugs, you want to help them, but at the same time, you got to fight. You got to fight to save that person.
Yeah.
That would be a good story, but so far they've treated it like, I know in this, I guess you could say in this movie, they treat it like an outside force, but they do it for a split second. And then her and the Phoenix Force are one. They don't even call it the Phoenix Force. They just say it's this cosmic power.
Well, again, this is what leads to my misunderstanding, right? Like this is what leads to me not thinking it was the Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
And I'm not even enough of a fan of the material to even know like the details of there being a Phoenix Force. I just thought it was just some mysterious, space thing.
It's actually it looks like a phoenix, like a fiery phoenix.
But they say it was like destroying planets and all sorts
and that's another confusing thing in this movie because Chastain and Crony aliens are like, oh, this force destroyed our planet.
Right.
And then in the movie, they're like, if we can't, get it out of her, we need to kill it. And then at the end of the movie, Chastain's like, I want this power. And I'm like, if this thing destroyed your planet, why couldn't you contain the power then? If it was strong enough to destroy your planet, which is full of people like you, but you can control it and you can contain it, that doesn't make sense. And it's none of this movie makes sense to me. We're gonna disagree on the Charles Xavier thing.
Sure,
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But timeline, nobody aging, Jean Grey's motivations, not doing what she's saying, or not, like everybody's abandoning me, but nobody really is. That I can't let all that stuff go.
How did you feel about the making Xavier walk like a puppet out of his wheelchair scene?
It was weird.
It's very weird. I was uncomfortable. It was a little uncomfortable for me. I'm not necessarily usually like that, but I was just like, I don't know. This just feels icky.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, because it's, maybe it's a metaphor for the fact that she felt like she was being manipulated like a puppet her entire life. And it was
totally.
like a taste of your own medicine sort of thing. But at the same time, I just keep going back. I'm like, well, that's just not the Xavier that I've seen over the past 11 movies. So
yeah,
that's the kind of stuff that holds me back. And I'm like, but that's not who I know. If that's not who I know, then you have to have a story arc within this movie showing me how it transitions from the person I know to the person you're showing me. And the movie just starts with this new Xavier for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to talk about that we can talk about more fully in spoilers is the power issue. And the thing that the X-Men movies have always done really well, in my opinion, is I think they understand superpowers in such a better way than most superhero movies do, because X-Men is about different powers for different people. And so it's always about this person has this particular power and how do you use that? And how would it battle up against this particular power? Whereas in a lot of superhero stuff, you think like Superman or Captain Marvel or, it's just like omnipotence, right?
Yeah.
Well, this movie adds omnipotence into the picture, and it's like these aliens are kind of omnipotent. Like they're just squeezing people's insides, crushing people's insides or something with their hand. Anytime a superhero just does this and something happens that they want to happen, that's just magic. Like I don't have any reference point or resource in my brain that goes, oh, that's how their power works.
Yeah.
But with the X-Men, usually there is that. When Storm creates a blizzard, I get that. That's her superpower. She can use weather, right? Like that's understandable. I have that resource to pull on what that means.
Yeah.
Then Dark Phoenix gets the Phoenix power, and then she can just do whatever she wants. She flies now. She, like I can get it when Magneto, does a little hand motion and metal stuff moves because he controls metal, and I understand how that's working. But when Phoenix does it, it's like, give me something. Give me some nonsense if you want to. Just don't yada yada the idea. Oh, she's just now omnipotent, and oh, these aliens are just, they can do that. Like but why? What are they controlling? How are they doing that?
See, I think that's what they need to do, because if they say the Phoenix Force itself is an omnipotent creature and it can do whatever it wants, it just needs a host, then I would have been okay with Jean Grey being able to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it not only does amplify her powers, but it gives her new powers,
Right.
So,
but even once that stuff is added, even if you do attempt to explain it, which I don't think this movie does, I don't think this movie really tries to at all. But even if you do, which would be better, it just adds this element of, oh, so what even matters anymore? One of the things I've loved about the X-Men is more than any other superhero property, I felt like I understood power dynamics. It's always a difficulty with superhero movies, understanding power dynamics. And this is a movie that added that unfortunate, mess into the X-Men, and so I was just kind of bummed about that.
Which is going to be really interesting whenever MCU starts doing X-Men, because they're going to be mixing mutations with actual superpowers, which are two different things.
Right.
So,
or non-superpowers.
Like Iron Man and stuff like that.
Ant-Man's doesn't have any superpowers.
Yeah.
It's all science.
But, we're going to have scenes where there's going to be like Captain Marvel and Thor alongside mutants now.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different because there's just magic.
Yeah.
Magic and mutation, two very different things.
Yeah. And literally magic in the case of Doctor Strange. You know, literally the idea of spells and those kind of things. So, yeah, I just, again, it was something I always loved about the X-Men that this movie kind of let go of a little bit. So I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
Since we're on powers, we could talk about specific power moments that we enjoyed.
The street fight.
The street fight was great.
Yeah.
One of the yada yada moments in that I wanted to talk about was how Dark Phoenix was able to waylay Quicksilver. Like, if he's operating on such a fast...
I wasn't even talking about that street fight. I was talking about the one at night, whenever Magneto and them are trying to get inside the building, and they're trying to cross that street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I have some issues with that one too, but that was cool. The three primary ones I think are
Train,
rescuing Dark Phoenix, getting into the hotel in New York, and in the train scene, right, and the space. I guess you could say the space scene at the beginning is also, there's some cool the Nightcrawler stuff in the space scene was some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it was short, I liked the helicopter fight scene between her and
Magneto.
Yeah, how she was just clearly overpowering him with and he's doing everything he can. She's just got one hand
and you can see on his face the terror of I can't hold it. He's always been in control his whole life, and now he can't handle it.
Yeah.
But going back to the first street fight.
Okay, yeah.
Since
I was already talking about that, and we can touch on the others as well. But yeah, there's that moment where Quicksilver's doing his Quicksilver thing, which I love. I love the Quicksilver effect. I think it's one of my favorite X-Men powers. And somehow she throws the stuff that he's climbing on out of the way. So her omnipotence it is true omnipotence, even beyond time. She is that aware of things that I don't know. It was weird. It was like when
I'll tell you this,
Flash and Superman in that moment.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. In the Marvel universe, not just the MCU, but the actual Marvel universe, the Phoenix Force is one of the most powerful entities in the entire Marvel universe. So it having omnipotence and power to do whatever it wants is not outside the realm of possibility. I could actually believe all that. I'm like, yeah, Phoenix Force could let her do that. She could do all that stuff with that power. So,
and then there's a moment there in that fight as well where the Beast wants to. He's not trying to kill Phoenix, right?
I think he is.
I thought he had one of those stun bullets or whatever that they had. I don't know. That obviously changes things. But Xavier's like, don't do it now, you know? And then that's when...
Oh, yeah.
When Mystique gets killed. Or Raven. Sorry.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So, apparently the guns that the military had only affect mutants.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a mutant stun gun kind of thing in this.
Because when they started shooting the aliens, they're like, they're not mutants. And I'm like, how do you know?
Because the gun didn't affect them.
Oh, yeah, but that's just so stupid, you know? Like, a gun that only affects mutants. I'm like, are you sure there's not mutants that are just immune to that? You're jumping immediately to they're not mutants, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true as well.
Yeah.
So back to the space battle, because I want to talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff there. I thought that was maybe the tightest of the set pieces. Like, it made the most sense from beginning to end to me, and was really compelling to me. Even during the train sequence, as much as I love some of the power stuff that's in the train sequence, it was really like jumbled and messy. It suffered from some editing stuff. But the space one I really liked. I liked when Quicksilver, duct taped the space helmet on him on Nightcrawler so he could go into space. All the Nightcrawler stuff of, just touching people and sending them places and getting them back and saving the crew. And
he killed a lot of people in this movie, or aliens.
Yeah. Well, and that was a big moment for him because he's
one through the neck with his tail.
Well, and I think part of the reason he's my favorite, and I've always identified with him, is kind of the religious aspects of the Nightcrawler character. The idea that Kurt doesn't want to be a killer. Like and in that moment just realized this is what I've got to do right now, and he went full Nightcrawler, and I thought it was pretty powerful, right? Yeah. Because not only powerful because it was cool, but powerful because it was an emotional sacrifice for him. He was sacrificing in doing that. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't enjoying it. It was a sacrifice for him.
Yeah.
And so that was, I don't know, I kind of like that, but he's my favorite character. So what are some of the other action moments that you dug?
Well, the whole thing, like I said, the New York street fight, how you're trying to figure out what's Magneto doing, like what is he doing with the ground, and then you realize he's pulling up the subway.
Okay, I have a problem with this.
Okay, it's stupid.
It's really stupid,
but it's super cool.
Exactly. Yeah. I totally agree. It is super stupid and super cool.
He couldn't have picked up any of those cars to block the door.
Like, how many hundreds of ways could you have figured out to block that door?
Yeah.
Than pulling up a subway car from underneath you.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's stupid and impractical, but it was fun to watch. Which, that's what this movie does. That's pretty much a lot of what this movie is. Stupid, impractical, but fun to watch.
What was his sidekick's power? What was her power?
Confusing, because she could control minds too.
I think maybe.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of lost at Magneto's whole crew. I kind of didn't understand. I got the one guy had hair spikes.
Yeah.
But I didn't really understand.
Dreads of Doom.
Yeah. Is that an X-Men you know of?
No.
Oh, okay.
At first I thought it was Red Alpha, Red Omega. He's like in the X-Force.
Mm-hmm.
But because he has like tentacle things, but I don't think it's him.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know her or
maybe
him.
His name is Dreadshot.
Dreadshot. Wow. Good one. That's actually really good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, sometimes.
But yeah, I just like how it was, everybody's powers were on display there. How you had Storm throwing lightning everywhere. You had Cyclops shooting his eye cannon. You had Beast jumping from car to car. I'm still unclear if they understand all of Beast's powers in the Fox.
I'm not sure I do, other than he's just like a maniac when he's a beast and he goes beast mode.
Yeah. But he's also like, I don't think that they've really shown like how smart he actually is.
Because that's really part of his superpowers is intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like insanely smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, everybody's powers were on display. I don't know the actress who plays Storm, but I really like her. I think she does a really good job because she commits to that African accent, unlike Halle Berry, who's like, first movie's good enough.
Right.
After that, you know, I'll
Alexandra Shipp is her name.
She's super good.
Yeah.
And she looks exactly like what I always imagined Storm would look like too. So.
Yep.
But yeah, so what were the issues you had with Sophie Turner's performance?
I just thought it didn't quite live up to, you know, everybody else around her. It seemed very basic. And again, so much of this can be script, story, all that kind of stuff. But it just seemed basic melodrama to me.
Okay.
It was very, very quickly over the top. You know, very quickly lost its humanity. And when a performance loses its humanity, I have a harder time connecting to it.
Okay.
So that's what it was for me. You know, I always felt like Magneto and Professor X and some of the other X-Men, you know, didn't lose their humanity. You know, I could connect to them, and I couldn't really connect to her.
Okay.
So just because it was so big, there's so much.
Yeah. What'd you think of the awful ending?
Is it so awful? I'm forgetting. What is the awful ending?
Well, she's like, oh, if you take this power from me, you'll kill everybody.
Right.
And then she's like, well, I'm just going to take you a little bit higher.
Oh,
And
yeah. She pulled an Iron Giant.
yeah, she just Iron Gianted her. And then at the end, we have Xavier and Magneto playing chess, and then you see the Phoenix flying in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't the Phoenix, actually. It was Captain Marvel. I don't know if you knew that. They're starting
That's
to...
how the transition is going to work.
And they're starting to work it in.
Well, it was in the 90s.
Yeah?
So that's whenever Captain Marvel's movie took place. Remember, there were
That's right.
blockbusters everywhere.
That's right. I did like the chess scene. I didn't like the Dark Phoenix nod at the end just because I didn't quite understand it.
I don't either. Is it saying that Jean's dead but the Phoenix isn't?
Yeah, I don't know.
And why would that kill her? She had the full power already.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the end is a little weird and abstract and nonsensical.
Yeah.
Boy, I felt bad for everybody in my theater sticking around for end credits. What do you do when you know there's no end credit scenes and people are sticking around? Do you tell them?
I tell them.
I try to too, and they always just look at me like I'm an idiot. I've stopped. I didn't do it this time because every other time I've done it, it's just like people are like, yeah, so, and they sit there, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if you're not gonna listen, I guess you have no reason to trust me, you know, and you want to know for yourself. So I didn't do it this time.
Yeah.
But I felt bad. I'm walking out. I'm like, I know there are no end credits here.
Yeah.
It's as simple as a Google search.
Yeah.
Like you don't.
That's what I did. Like the hot girl next to me is like, do you know if there's going to be an end
Did you
credit
just say
scene?
hot girl?
Yeah. There was, okay. I went to Alamo. You know, Alamo, you can pick wherever you want to sit. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
We had a fairly sparse theater.
Uh-huh.
And this girl bought a ticket in the seat right next to me in a pretty empty theater. And she was cute. Yeah. She offered me some of her pizza, and we talked for a while. And then she's like, do you know if there's a... And then I never saw her again. But she was like, do you know if there's an end credit scene? Google. Nope, no end credit scene. She's like, okay. And then we left, and then there was like people sticking around. I'm like, hey, there's no end credit scene. They're like, okay. And yeah, like you said, they just stick.
They just stay, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
And be like, if somebody told me there's no credit scene.
Either you say, well, I'll Google it for myself.
Or you believe them.
Yeah, or you believe them.
What reason do they have to lie to me?
Yeah.
You know, they don't know. It's not like they're trying to pull a prank on me. They don't know me.
Yeah.
Right? And what kind of stupid prank is that? Like, it kind of has blown my mind. But I'm not going to do it anymore because I just, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, part of me wants to, like, instead of not doing anymore, go to the next level and, like, go up to the front and, like, yell.
No!
Go away! Unless you want to watch names, that's fine. But there's no credit scene.
Oh, so, you know, whenever I hosted that Audi event for Endgame?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the end of it, I told everybody, okay, everybody, hope you enjoyed the movie. There's no end credit scene. And some of them got mad at me that there wasn't an end credit scene. Like I had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's even less of an end credit scene because there's the Iron Man noises at least at the end of
clink, clink.
in game,
Yeah,
but there's nothing at the end of Dark Phoenix. So, anything else?
Nah.
I think we covered about everything we want to cover.
Pretty much.
So there you go. There's the spoilers on Dark Phoenix.
The final X-Men movie for Fox. Yeah.
So, and if you're a member of SiftPop, feel free to listen to our thoughts on what the MCU might do with the X-Men now that will show up in your feed. So we'll see you then. Bye.